Friday, we finally got our FBI briefing. It was just the Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, and myself. It was a very thorough briefing. The one answer that I got out of that briefing was there is no way Eric Swalwell should continue to serve on the Intel Committee. And the challenge here is the leaders of both parties are the only people who select to go on the Intel Committee.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says he wants all intelligence members to get the same briefing that he and Speaker Pelosi received from the FBI on Congressman Swalwell's reported past ties to a suspected Chinese spy. Pelosi has not spoken publicly on this, but she has said she's not concerned about the reports on Swalwell and Christine Fang. Former White House Communications Director Alyssa Farrah is with me now. Alyssa, great to see you.
Great to see you,
it's interesting. How you handled the messaging on this is very different from how you handle the facts, apparently. Because the messaging is there's nothing to see here. And what we just saw from the top Republican in the House is there's enough to see here to say Congressman Swalwell should not be on the Intel Committee.
Well, absolutely. I would echo Leader McCarthy. What Eric Swalwell did was demonstrate a complete lack of judgment. Those of us, and I worked in the national security space before I was at the White House, who are entrusted with our nation's secrets, are obligated to protect them and to use judgment and to know that America's adversaries are always looking to exploit people in American life. He knows he knows that China is the U.S.'s greatest geopolitical foe, yet he somehow was able to fall victim to a sophisticated espionage scheme. There's absolutely no reason that Eric Swalwell should be able to maintain his post on the House Intelligence Committee. And I would just add this, Harris. He's also demonstrated a lack of understanding of how America's adversaries work. And what I mean by that is he's somebody who's frequently on the airwaves accusing his Republican colleagues, of being Russian operatives or being compromised by Russia, not realizing that's exactly what the Kremlin wants to do. They want to sow discord and strife. He's proven time and time again to not be a serious person when it comes to protecting intelligence and to being somebody who's actually in a position to protect our national security.
And what about the irony of him, calling for Russia investigations and really having gone after the president? He says that he feels like all of this leaking, as Swalwell has termed the information that's dripping out, is in retaliation.
Well, it's ironic because he was known as one of the biggest leaks on the House Intelligence Committee, which, again, during the Russian investigation, again, shows a demonstration of a lack of ability and responsibility to be trusted with America's secrets.
One last question on this, and you would know so much more about this than I would. I was curious. When Congressman Swalwell says the FBI thanked him for his participation, I'm guessing that they probably thank everybody, but they don't visit everybody.
Correct. So that's absolutely the case. And everyone who sits on committees like the House and Senate Intel committees are well briefed in advance of the threats that they should be concerned about and looking out for. So to fall victim to this really just, again, shows a lack of judgment in somebody who should not be in this position of being entrusted with our nation's secrets and with classified information.
I'll move to this. Republican Senator John Barrasso says President-elect Joe Biden's cabinet picks could be in for a rough ride if the GOP maintains control of the upper chamber. Let's watch. I'll get your reaction.
We are not going to forget what happened with President Trump's administration and the delayed process that went through it. So it's not going to be a garden party if the Republicans are in the majority. These nominees are going to have to run the gauntlet.
Alyssa?
Well, absolutely. I think Senator Barrasso is correct. But what I would say is we're not going to be arbitrary. Senate Republicans, when they keep the majority, are going to exercise extreme scrutiny against incoming President-elect Biden's nominees. I would point, first of all, of course, to Neera Tanden, who is a longtime activist for far-left organizations, who's being put up as the head of the Office of Management and Budget, an extremely important position. So we're going to exercise serious scrutiny there and really ask the question, is this representative of all of America and what we deserve in the highest levels of our government? But another one that I would actually raise some concern about as well is former Obama Chief of Staff, Dennis McDonough, who's been appointed to head the Veterans Affairs Committee. Under President Obama and Joe Biden as vice president, we saw massive delays at the Veterans Affairs Administration. We had over 100,000 veterans die waiting in lines. And under President Trump, we were able to fix the VA and get it to a place where it's got a 90% approval rating. We have choice, we have access to care. So I would be concerned about having that individual leading the VA. So definitely Senate Republicans, we need to keep the majority so we can exercise that scrutiny on these.
Yeah, you know, I visited a couple of those facilities with the VA Secretary Wilkie, and we revisited some of those problems that had happened previously. You bring up a point that maybe we're not even focused on right now because there's so much other stuff happening, but we will. Alyssa Farrah, thank you. Great to see you today. Happy holidays.